Hi friends, today we're going to make Morning Glory muffins. These are really healthy muffins and they're even better than that, they're delicious. Don't be intimidated by the number of ingredients. It calls for a lot of different things, but that's what makes them so special. And most of this you probably will have at home. So let's begin with just mixing the dry ingredients. We're going to start with our 2 1/4 cups of flour. That's just all-purpose flour, your regular. I have 3/4 cup of white sugar. And we're going to blend that, mix that up. To that, we're going to add our 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and our 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, this is just the dry ingredients, and we're going to set this aside in a minute. We have about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to add to that as well. And our last flavoring, we want 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So get that all in there. All right, mix that all up. Just whisk it up like this and set it aside, because now we're going to do the wet ingredients. And so far, I've already got my 8 1/2 ounce can of crushed pineapple. This is really important. You're going to drain it. So probably open it up and set it over a fine mesh sieve over the sink. You just want to get the extra liquid out so these aren't too wet. To that, you're going to add about 1 chopped apple. That's kind of, it could be a cup, it could be 3/4 cup. But I've chopped an apple. You can peel the apple and chop it, or peel it and you can grate it if you want. But you've got your crushed pineapple right there. You see all that? And your apple. To that, now we're going to do the wet ingredients. To that, we're going to add our butter. And this is about 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Nice and, cooled off. You don't want to put it in there when it's hot. Also, our 3 eggs, which I already broke and sort of, just kind of mixed a little bit. Get your eggs in there and start mixing this up. You want to blend all this stuff together, get those eggs kind of mixed in with everything else. You're going to grate about 1 1/2 cups of carrot, and that's what makes these Morning Glory muffins really special. My carrots, I had a mixed bag, and literally a mixed bag. My carrots were the kind that you get that are red and white and orange. So these are my carrots. And instead of grating them, I sort of cheated. I used the Cuisinart. No problem. Do it. It's easy. So if you have a Cuisinart and you're allowed to use it, there you go with your carrots. You've got that all mixed in there. And you want this is your liquid stuff. To that, we're going to add our 1 tablespoon of vanilla. It sounds like a lot of vanilla, but this makes a very flavorful muffin. So at this point, here's our liquid. Now, to our dry, we're going to add our liquid right in here, and we're going to mix everything in. In the meanwhile, make sure that you've preheated your oven. You want about a 350 oven to bake these, and they will go for about 24 to 28 minutes. Of course, that varies with everybody's ovens. And once again, this looks a little dry, but once you mix it all in, I think they'll blend in just fine. So to this, I think I need a bigger spoon. To this, I'm going to add the last 3 ingredients, which are really, really important to these wonderful muffins. We're going to add our I've toasted these walnuts. You can use any kind of nut. I like walnuts. And you're going to have to, I think you should toast them first. They always taste better if they're toasted. And you chop them pretty small because you don't want to be, biting into like a gigantic walnut. So then you add your toasted coconut. Same thing. I toasted this just to give it a little extra flavor. And my oven says it's ready, but my muffins are not. So I'm going to keep mixing this and try and get this all blended in there. Seems a little bit dry, but I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, I see it. It'll be very rich. These are going to be very, very moist. Very moist muffins. Oh, that looks great. And the last but not least, our cup of raisins. Any kind of raisins. If you have golden raisins, use golden raisins. If you have these nice little regular sun-made brown raisins, these are perfect. And there you go. That looks like a pretty good mix of a muffin. We don't want to overdo it, but we just want to make sure that everything is mixed through it. Excellent. So I'm going to set this aside And then I'm going to bring my prepared pan. So I am going to use, I really like silicone, and I happen to have these little silicone silicone liners. You can use paper liners if you prefer. Or you can just grease the pan and go right into the muffin pan, which is really the traditional, is the correct way to do it. But I really like to be able to just sort of pop it out at the end when it's cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'll just show you. I have my scoop again, my handy dandy scoop. And these muffins you want to fill about, you don't want to give it too much, but I would say a scoop is probably just right. That's like 3/4 of the way. You can see there's a lot of extra space. So you're going to fill your muffin, and I'll go and continue to fill these and put them in the oven at 350 for 24 to 28 minutes. And meet with you when they come out, and we'll see how it all turns out. So we're back, and the muffins are out of the oven, and I have them on a little plate here for you to see. They puffed up beautifully. We're going to check the texture in a minute. I did want to leave one or two in the silicone so you could see how easy it literally is. I mean, they're so easy to pop out. So if you have a chance to get silicone, you can use them over and over and over again. That's what I like about them. So here we are. Let me grab one of these and we'll get a close-up and see what it's... Yeah, that looks amazing. That looks so good. Let's take a test. That's the true test here. I can see apple and... Oh, wow. I think you're going to love these. Really, really tasty. Wow. Great with a cup of tea. So make yourself a cup of tea, sit down, have a muffin, and I'll see you on Thursday.